here I am at the Sony Computer Entertainment America offices in San Mateo, California. I've just had the opportunity to play a handful of games on the PS4 holding the PS4 controller. I've held it a few times before, but to actually play games in a fairly final state with the controller, it really has highlighted this is a good controller. I have not been a fan of either the PS2, the PS1, or the PS3 controllers, and I always thought it was because that the sticks were on the same latitude, and I realized that's not the case. It was really more an issue of resistance and that sense of solidity, and the PS4 controller really seems to address that far more so than I would have ever expected. Let's talk about some of the buttons first. You have what would be the equivalent of a bumper button, and right below it, it's a trigger. It took me a second to get used to it because I attempted to put these two fingers covering both buttons and realized that's just not a natural and normal way to play. The triggers are the primary buttons, and you just gravitate that same finger up when you want to use the bumpers, especially in the case of Killzone, to send out your owl or to throw a grenade. Now, the sticks really are the big revelation, though, and it's a beautiful sense of resistance. That subtle, modest movements seem to be reading on screen, and you do feel that you can just put it all the way to the side without things getting a little bit sort of out of whack, because you just seems to want to go back to the center with that perfect sense of force. Now, there is the touchpad that's in the middle. I've seen it used in certain games where it just kind of takes you to the menu screen. In the case of Killzone, you could swipe your finger over it, and that would change the power that you give your little buddy, the owl, in Killzone. It still wasn't the most natural place for my thumb to want to gravitate and take it off the stick, especially in the middle of combat, but that probably is also due to the fact that, well, it's a new thing, and I haven't sort of trained my muscles to want to do that. But there seems to be a lot of potential use in that area that is before this time been kind of just empty real estate on a controller. So can't say anything more about the games, can't say how they're going to be utilizing the controller down the line, but in terms of a significant improvement on Sony to really kind of get me back over from my affection for the 360 controller, I gotta say they did it with the PS4.